Now let's get to the main topic of this chapter, that is nomenclature. Now nomenclature is divided into two types. So as for the first one, let's say it's trivial nomenclature, and second one is IUPAC nomenclature. And this trivial nomenclature is generally a type of nomenclature which is generally followed since the ancient times, whereas this IUPAC nomenclature is the modern times nomenclature. Generally, nomenclature is nothing but naming a compound. It's generally called as nomenclature. In today's session, we'll be discussing about trivial nomenclature. So, trivial nomenclature is the oldest system of naming an organic compounds. And whenever a compound is discovered, they used to follow this type of nomenclatures in ancient times. And now let's discuss trivial nomenclature is given to generally for three type of compounds. First one is for paraffins, second one is for olefins, and third one is for acetylens. So we have discussed in our previous classes about saturated and unsaturated. This paraffins belongs to the class of saturated hydrocarbons, and whereas these two belongs to unsaturated hydrocarbon system. Now if you take about saturated hydrocarbons, in that is paraffins, in this paraffins generally carbon and hydrogen are the major elements in these compounds. And as I've told you, saturated hydrocarbon in the sense only single bonds are present. Singular bonds presence makes them paraffins. Generally paraffins is a Greek word where param means small and affins in the sense affinity, as these are chemically very least reactive. As they have singular bond, these becomes very least reactive among these three. These are the very least reactive, and these are generally denoted by a general formula CnH2n plus 2. And the first four members are generally known as methane, second one is ethane, third one is propane, and fourth one is butane. And later on, the higher hydrocarbons are generally added with the Greek prefixes. You're getting it? Now let's learn about those Greek prefixes. If there is one carbon, we generally know that it's meth, we must remember this. And if it's two, it's ith. And if it's for three, it's about prop. And if it's for four, it's but. And if it's for five, it's pent. If it's for six, it's hex. If it's for seven, it's hept. And similarly for 8, it's oct. If it's for 9, it's non. And if it's for 10, it's dec. And these all are continued with ane. As we know that paraffins are generally singular bonds, and singular bonds are represented with ane. So if it's methane, that is its chemical formula becomes CH4. And if it's ethane, its chemical formula becomes C2H6. We must substitute n value over here, and we'll be getting this becomes n values. You're getting it? And we get remaining formulas as C3, H8 C4 H10 for butane, and for C5 H12 for pentane, C6 H14, and so on, so on, so on, and C10 H22 for this thing. And let's get into the next page. In the previous page we have discussed about Greek prefixes for the organic compound. Now let's see if organic compound has branch or more branches, or if it's a straight line, or if it's a straight chained organic compound, then what are the prefixes we use? In saturated hydrocarbon system, if there are three types of prefixes used for a straight chained hydrocarbon system, for another two are branched chain systems. We'll be discussing in detail furtherly. And as I've told you, there are three types. First one comes as N prefix. It is used for the paraffins in which there is only one single continuous chain. You are getting it? If there is only one single continuous chain in an organic compound, then we use this prefix. For example, let's say CH3, CH2 and CH3. In this type, now let's say we call this as we have discussed about this thing, that is prop. There are three carbons, hence we say it's prop. In the previous page we have discussed, and it's a single bond, so N, propane. And we have now come to know that it's a straight chain, and we use this N propane will be the trivial nomenclature name for this compound. And similarly, let's discuss a few more examples. This is a four-chained hydrocarbon system, and for four carbons we generally give bute, and it's a single bond system, butane, and N-butane shall be its name. Similarly, let's look at another example. Now this seems to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chain hydrocarbon system, hence we can name it as pent, and it seems to be a single bonded system N, and it seems to be a straight chain hydrocarbon N, so N pentane shall be its name. And this is about N prefix. And second one is about iso prefix. And this is a prefix which is used for those paraffins in which methyl group is attached to the last second carbon atom of the continuous chain. If this seems to be a continuous chain, and this seems to be a last but one carbon on this, if there is only one methyl group, then we indicate this chain with this with this iso prefix. You're getting it? Now let's look into the examples, will be clarified. Now it's CH3 CH, CH3 CH. We know this is 1 2 3 4 bute, and it seems to be all single bonds are there in. Okay, this is not a straight chain. As I've told you, this seems to be a longest chain, and on the last second carbon there seems to be a methyl. As per the definition, we use the iso. This is isobutane. You're getting it? And let's look into another example. CH3 CH, CH2 CH3, CH3 CH2 CH3. Let's take like this. And if you look at it, how many number of carbons? 1 2 3 4 5, and pent single bonds makes it ane, and there is a methyl branch on the last second carbon, hence it's isopentane. Let's take another example. How many number of carbon chain is this in this hydrocarbon system? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. It's hept. It, as there is only a single bonded system, there is N, and it's iso. You getting it? This is how we use iso prefix. And as for the third prefix, it's about neo, and this is a type of prefix which is used for the paraffins in which two methyl groups are added to the last but one carbon of a continuous chain. You're getting it? This is a type of prefix which is added to a last second carbon in a continuous chain. As I've told you, if this is a hydrocarbon system, this is the last second carbon or but one carbon. On this, if there are two methyl branches, then we use this neo prefix. You're getting it? So let's take an example, you'll be clarified. So we know it's a single bonded system and there are 5 carbons. So pent, ane and neo makes it look good. And this is neo prefix, about neo prefix. And if you want, let's take another example. This makes a neo as there is a second on as there is 2 branches of methyl on last second carbon, neo. And this seems to be 1 2 3 4 5 6, and this is hexane. I hope you're getting it. And now let's discuss about alkyl groups. What are alkyl groups? This is a very small topic. Now these are univalent groups or generally radicals obtained by removal of one hydrogen atom from a molecule of paraffin. From paraffins, if we remove one hydrogen, then these groups are obtained. You are getting it? So generally paraffins general formula is CnH2 and plus 2, and if we remove one hydrogen, it makes CnH2n plus 1. This shall be the general formula of alkyl groups. And let's we have discussed methane formula will be CH4. Then if we remove one hydrogen atom, then it becomes CH3. This will be named as alkyl, in the sense methyl. You're getting it? And as for ethane, C2H6. Removing one hydrogen, it makes C2H5. So this will be named as ethyl. You're getting it? And let's take another example. Propane. It will be given as C3H8. And if you remove one hydrogen, it's converted into C3H7, and this will be named as propyl. You're getting it? And that is about alkyl groups, and we can discuss many more. So let's discuss them on the next page. And now when you look at this propane, and it can be written in two types. One is in the previous I have explained you how it can be written as for N and iso and neo, and now let's take those as examples. This is propane. When I remove one hydrogen from this end, it becomes N propyl chain. It's a straight chain N, and it's an alkyl, so propyl. And if I remove one hydrogen from this second carbon atom, then it becomes isopropyl, as there are 3 carbons prop, and this is an alkyl, sorry, it's becomes propyl, and this seems to be on the singular chain, there seems to be a last second carbon, so it becomes an isopropyl. And similarly when you look into this butane, sorry, it's butane, right? Yes, it's butane, N-butane. This is N-butane, and if I take one hydrogen atom from here, terminal side, it's going to become an N-butyl chain. And when I take one hydrogen from the secondary carbon, then this is a butyl, of course, it's obvious, and this seems to be a second carbon, so I name it as secondary butyl if I remove one hydrogen from the second carbon atom. And when I take this thing, isobutane, If I take remove one hydrogen from the terminal N, then it becomes isobutyl. And if I remove the one hydrogen atom from here, from the second, it's going to become tertiary butyl. You can write in this manner also. So thank you, and we'll be discussing about olefins and acetylenes in our next video.